Hello and welcome back as I continue reading the beautiful story called Song of the Unicorn. The winter came bringing snow with it. Jasper was almost as big as his mother now, and side by side they pawed through the white layer of powdery snow to reach the nourishing grass. Their breath rolled out like icy mist as they traveled toward the north. "Where are we going?" Jasper asked his mother. "To the country and the city of the great king," she replied. Jasper's mother taught him to follow close behind her as she plowed away through the snowdrifts. For many days they walked, and Jasper's mother taught him how to find shelter from the wind. She taught him how to curl up in the snow so that it was like a warm blanket protecting him. As they traveled, they had to break through the ice on the ponds and streams so that they could drink. "We are very close to the great king's country and city now," she nickered to Jasper. "Soon I must leave you." "Please do not leave me," said Jasper. But his mother answered, "I must go before you, leaving my hoof prints so that you can see the way. You too must learn to trust the great king to be with you in all the things that will happen to you. When you can no longer see my hoof prints, you must believe that the great king, who is leading us both now, will keep on leading you until you catch up with me in the great king's country. Believe me, Jasper, it is the most wonderful land, a land so filled with all the things that are enjoyable and pleasant that you cannot imagine how wonderful it really is. Don't miss your way, Jasper. I want to see you in this great country someday. I will be waiting for you." Then one morning Jasper awakened, and his glorious white mother, who had so much faith in the great king, was gone. In the snow, Jasper's mother had left her dainty hoof prints that led the way through the wild forest. Afraid and alone, Jasper followed his mother's trail. After many days, his ribs began to show, and he had sores on his knees because he had fallen so many times. But he was following his mother's hoof prints in faith, so he trotted on. He was too scared to sleep at night because it was so dark. The wolves howled, and the wind gusted around Jasper, whipping his tail and face. Jasper had to use all his strength to break the ice on the pools he found so that he could drink. Jasper knew that somehow he must make it to the country and the city of the great king, where his beautiful mother was waiting for him. The wolves that constantly followed him at a distance came closer and tried to overtake Jasper. Always behind him, they darted in and out of the trees like shadows. Jasper began to gallop. Faster and faster he went, with his mane flying like eagle's wings and his tail streaming behind him like a black smoke. Finally, while the wolves were baying at his heels, he came to a stop before a valley filled with thorn trees. Jasper felt trapped. If he turned to go back, the wolves would devour him. But if he went forward, the thorns would pierce and destroy him. At least, that is how it seemed to scare Unicorn, who had not yet learned to trust completely in the great king to rescue him. A wolf nipped his ox, causing Jasper to scream and leap ahead into the valley of the thorn trees. The thorns caught Jasper, holding him tight and cutting him his tender hide. Jasper thrashed about, desperately trying to get free. Finally, he was bleeding so much that he was too weak to fight anymore. Then Jasper lifted up his head and gave one last desperate whiny for help. Jasper closed his eyes after that. All was quiet. But as he lay tired and panting, his sides bleeding and scratched, he felt gentle hands stroking his mane. Someone was beginning to untangle him from the thorns. Jasper opened his eyes. Kneeling over him was a figure dressed in white with beautiful, gentle hands, and on his head was a shining crown. Jasper knew that it was the great king, though he had never seen him before. Jasper knew that only the great king could be so loving and caring. The king spoke words of comfort to him. The gentle hands of the great king were also healing hands, and as they touched Jasper's wounds, his pain ceased. Jasper's heart was filled with such peace, faith, and love that he lay his head in the lap of the great king and slept. What an encouraging story. We will continue again at a later time. I hope you enjoyed this story so far. And remember, like in Matthew 19:14, but Jesus said, "Suffer little children and forbid them not to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven." And never forget, remember, you are loved, appreciated, and truly valued. Until next time, take care and God bless.